how did you come about the idea of mixing comedy and ballet together?
Well, I think it existed before. I mean, I think there were funny ballets before the Trocadero, the original Trocadero. But ballet is so artificial and it's so perfect that to make it funny, all you need to do is bend it a little bit and it's funny. What I think we found was that if you bend it too much, it's not funny
no
at
longer
all.
funny.
People falling down on the floor and all that, that's not that funny. But if you take an arabesque and just bend it a little bit or do something funny with somebody, I think we discovered that ballet contains the seeds of its own comedy.
One of the things that I like about Go for Barocco, and I think maybe speaks to the longevity of why it's been successful for so long, is that to me it's very layered. There are things that are funny within the piece that any person watching would find amusing. There are other little nuances, little jokes put in that maybe an aficionado that's familiar with certain ballets would pick up on. So there are many different layers and different things that are funny to different people. It's not just a one note.
I think that's true. And it's important that it not be just funny to ballet people, because then everyone's included in the joke. There's something, too, about comedy. Something bigger trying to be little is always funnier than something little trying to be big.
Right.
I mean, the elephants in Fantasia, when they put on their tutus and they start dancing around, they're huge, big elephants. There's something funny about something big trying to be dainty. Yeah, that's automatically funny.
But an ant trying to be strong, already it's strong.
It's not that funny, right? So there is that element about guys having guys in a cast and then girls. It's just different. Big guys trying to be little is just funny.
How would you contrast the comedy in Go for Barocco to Trovatiara?
Well, Barocco is really an abstract ballet. You don't have names in the program. You're not called something. And so it's a black and white abstract ballet. Trovatiara is kind of an opera ballet from the 19th century, and it's pirates. And they're sort of characters in a story. There is no story, but they're characters in a story. And I think it's a little more outrageous. And there's sword play, and there's all this kind of stuff that's really much more theatrical.
Right.
I think Barocco is less theatrical, and Trovatiara is very theatrical, and everybody's way over the top, kind of almost like opera singers. Everybody is in a mad scene all the time. So that's good. Yes, everyone's suffering, and there's terrible stuff going on, and the swords and all this stuff. So I think that makes it quite different. Also, I love opera. And I love 19th century ballet, so it gave me a chance to sort of combine things.
Do you have a bag of tricks that I'm going to use this joke and this joke and this joke?
No, I think it just comes out of, for me, it all comes out of the music all the time. And the jokes sort of come. I think it's, in a way, it's almost like old vaudeville. It's almost like real joking. There has to be a build-up, and then there's a punchline. Right. And so I'm always figuring out what's the build-up, and then what is the punchline. Sometimes I know what the punchline is, and so I'll build up to it. Okay. Sometimes I don't, and we just keep going, and all of a sudden, if this happened here, it would be hilarious. Right. So I kind of, it works both ways. You don't always exactly know. And you know this, both of you, things happen in rehearsal. People would be amazed at what happens in rehearsal that winds up on stage.
Right.
A lot of people nowadays are watching comedy movies on their phone or on a screen, or through a lens, but on the stage it's a little bit different.
Right.
I would assume that you have to compose it so that you are directing the audience where to look, because if it's too spread out, they're going to miss it or something.
Exactly, you're right. So one thing, it has to be slower. Everything on the stage has to be slower because it's big and it's huge and the audience is far away. So you can't have something going on over here if people are looking over there. And everybody doesn't see the whole stage at the same time. And so I think that the key is to, all stage time has to be slower. And even things that seem fast and move fast, they can't appear too fast to the audience. Right. But you're right, when you're watching a movie on your phone or on your iPad or something, it goes really fast because you can control and contain all that information. And film does work faster. TV and film work much, much faster. But they can cut to what they want you to see. Right. We can't cut to a close-up.
Everybody look over here.
Yeah, right.
And you're talking about camera work and in Hang On, No Need to Be Lonely. There's a couple of moments where I think of it like the camera doing a close-up just by stillness. And like
Yeah.
there's movement and the main couple just stood still, so then hopefully that will get the audience eyes to focus right then.
You know, that's
And then
great.
movement
Yeah.
happens again, and so it
Yeah.
becomes broad again.
That's a great observation. I think that is a close-up. When they stop, it is a close-up because everybody has to focus on this one moment that's not moving.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to think about it.
Did you ever think you were going to do comedy when you started dancing?
Yeah, I sort of did because I always thought it was a little bit funny, a little bit artificial, a little bit silly. There was a little sort of silliness about it.